You should never have to compromise on comforts. Helix has mattresses with cooling technologies that helps regulate your body temperature whatever the season. By supporting Helix, you're allowing them to support me and my show. Go purchase your Helix and thank me later for the best night's sleep ever. Helix is offering 20% off all mattresses and orders with 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/IDK and use the following code HelixPartner20. That's HelixPartner20. This is the best offer yet and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Thank you to our sponsor, JamesAllen.com. JamesAllen.com. JamesAllen.com is the online destination for designing and customizing an engagement ring that she, or he, I'm not stopping you. Love is love. Love more than she thought she could, or he could, possibly even enjoy, and saving up to 50% off traditional stores. Get 25% off your order and go to jamesallen.com and use the code IDCAT, IDKAT, and use the code IDCAT at jamesallens.com for 25% off. That's jamesallen.com.
Michael Jackson, LaToya Jackson, Jermaine Jackson. Are they all related? Think so.
I think so.
Documentaries would say that. You might find out, and I don't know about that, with Jim Jefferies. Yes, of course they're all related. I just ran out of things to say. Poor Michael.
That's what you thought of today?
I don't know. I think with Michael Jackson. So I think Michael Jackson was a pedophile. I'm in he was a pedophile camp, right? Some people are in the other camp, but it does surprise me that out of all the cancelable things in the world, that like the radio just throws on Michael Jackson songs like no one's like, decide for yourself.
When it comes to music, we definitely are a lot better at separating the art from the artist.
Yeah. Bill Cosby specials don't get paid, but Michael Jackson music gets paid.
We should probably introduce our guests. So
people think it's you with a cold. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Steve-O is with us today for the first half of the podcast. Very excited to have you here.
His new special, Bucket List, comes out November 14th, and you can go to steveo.com to watch it there, correct?
That's right.
And I don't know if there's anything else. He was shot in London, I know that. And
shot in London, England.
What theatre?
The Hackney Empire.
Hackney Empire, yeah, I play there, yeah, lovely.
It's really great.
Yeah.
And this is a multimedia event where I really just did awful things, terrible things. You'll remember. You'll remember I showed you a video of me ejaculating as I fell out of
jumped out of it. Fell out of it. You jumped out of it. You had an error. He had a parachute on. He didn't just fall out.
Right.
But he was coming as he left. But you did something because you had to paint your dick a different color or something.
Right.
Because otherwise it couldn't be shown in film. Did you paint it black?
I didn't. Yeah.
How did that strangely make it smaller? It was very slimming. Yeah, that's why I always wear black, incidentally.
Right. I didn't even think about the potential repercussions of being in black dick. I remember Knoxville telling me, he said, that is the smallest black dick I've ever seen.
Well, let's imagine how big these black dicks would be if they were white. They're even bigger.
Right.
But why did you have to make it black? Also, you just showed it to me. Like, we're friends, but we don't chat on the phone or anything.
Right.
Like, that's a risky move, doing that, because it's like, I'd show that to like a picture. Here's me masturbating and me coming to some people. You can get me too, but the aeroplane jump almost if you just showed me a picture of you ejaculating, I'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
But because you're jumping out of a plane, I'm like, that's a stunt.
So cool, yeah.
Exactly. I consider it the crown jewel of my entire career.
Yeah, very good.
And my objective with this bucket list project was to do just about solely things that I would not even be allowed to do for Jackass. Like, to push the boundaries beyond everything, like fully illegal. Like, I had a medical professional in disguise.
Okay, first of all, I want to say I'm going to watch this. I'm a big fan of yours. I haven't watched it yet because I only got the link yesterday and I got kids and everything. I've watched the intro and how you got on stage, and already that's my mind's fucking blown. I'm a big fan. Okay, I'm sick to death of like comedians, and look, my last special was a bit bland. In the back, it was just some wooden panels or whatever. But just curtains. I love the TVs and everything, that you're doing it in a big theatre, that it looks like an old school special where someone's put effort into the fucking thing. And then also, okay, so can I talk about the intro before we get to... I know you're
course, man.
Okay, so it starts off with you on your roof being picked up by Bill Burr with in a helicopter, and not a small shitty helicopter, a big military grade fucking helicopter with a ladder dangling off it. Please tell me, okay, you're going to tell me you weren't, but was there a harness? Was there
I did for when I was flying around. I was flying around all goddamn day.
Yeah, of
and
course.
there was a safety line that came up through my shirt, which connected me to the ladder.
Yeah.
But that wasn't going to help me when it was time for me to drop from the rope ladder.
And also connecting to it and flying off your roof. You can see that it's a still
I
shot.
just grabbed it and it picked me up and flew me off.
Fucking man, because Bill's not a stunt heli. I know he's got his license, but there's also a bit where Bill's just dunking him into the water.
Then I gotta let go of the rope ladder while I'm dangling from the helicopter and land on the roof of my moving tour bus.
So it doesn't help. So Bill flies over the top. He's on a helicopter. Steve-O lands on the fucking bus, climbs down the side of the bus,
down,
where he's met by his beautiful girlfriend, lovely. And I've forgotten the name. I've met her before. Lux. I met her before. Very nice. And he gets in the door, and he's greeted with her with flowers.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant. And I'm like this. I'll walk in from the left. I'll walk in from the left, and I might wear a suit jacket because it's a special. I'll put that much extra effort into the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you landed. So that was obviously real. You got now that you also went through a power cable.
Yeah. They set that one up for me.
I know that had to be, because otherwise I pay my rates. I pay my council tax. I don't want you fucking around with the local power cable. Like that looked like a legit spark. They were wired. They were like
that was special effects. We're gonna always take liberties on an opening sequence,
right,
Jackass and everything else.
Yeah.
But when the medical professional puts an IV in my arm and administers stolen general anesthesia drugs while I'm riding a bicycle, there's no trickery there.
Standard. That's pretty standard.
Okay, so we all, my son is 10, about to turn 11, and Brad Pitt was my weatherman.
Yeah.
Right? I know Russell Crowe very well. Right?
Yeah.
I've met celebrities, but there's only one that my son is impressed by.
Oh, wow.
Is the fact that I'm friends with Steve-O. And I have made Steve-O FaceTime my son. Like I've got... I'll tell you, the only other time I made... my son's favourite movie when he was 2 or 3 was Planes by Pixar. And I did make Dane Cook leave a voice message as Dusty Cropper. Right? And he was pretty cool about it, right? He did the voice and everything. But when my son spoke to you, you were like this, hey, you like Mr. Beast or whatever. Like my son didn't shut up. He couldn't talk. He was just, he froze up. He couldn't believe he was talking to Steve, because we watched the Jackass movies, but I watched them first. And then anywhere where there's a dick or loads of excess swearing or pubic hair or whatever, I fast. So we can get through a movie in 20 minutes. Right? I can give you the PG rate. I don't mind a bit of a tooth being ripped out or someone hurting themselves, right? But I write down on a pad. I don't even write my jokes down, but I write down on a pad all the bits where my son can watch Jackass again.
Right.
And we go scene. It's my son's favourite time, right? Now, I will say this. One time, me and Jack took a pile of mushrooms. Jack's mother listened to the podcast, probably not going to be happy about this. Jack doesn't do many illicit substances, and he took mushrooms. And what did we do while we watched mushrooms?
We watched Jackass 2.
We watched Jackass 2. And I turned to him, it's the greatest thing that's ever come out of Jack's mouth. I said, women don't like this. Like, my wife hates the Jackass movie. I go, why don't they like it? And he turned to me and went, because they're stupid.
Now, quiet. We need to watch them jerk off this horse.
And then he goes, now be quiet. I need to watch them jerk off this horse.
I've been watching Jackass since I was 7. That was the DVD we'd have in the van.
Yeah, it's
so
good.
my brother and I have watched that.
I just did Poopy's podcast.
I heard about that. That you're a saint for doing that. Yeah. We just had this idea for a silly YouTube video where we would go on Cameo and order videos, make requests for celebrities to say and do just awful things.
Yeah.
We asked David Arquette, we sent the request saying, I got my girlfriend pregnant and she wants to keep the kid, but we're just not in a position for this. Can you make a video trying to urge her to get an abortion, you know? And he wrote back this thoughtful response about how it's the woman's choice and he wants to be more considerate. But we forwarded the request on to Poopies. Yeah. Poopies had no problem. he read our script. He said, let's yank this bun out of the oven. we had every single celebrity that we sent a request to declined to do it, and we sent every single request to Poopies, who did 100% of all of it. Pretending to have Tourette syndrome. We had asked Dennis Rodman to stuff his junk behind his legs so that he had a mangina.
Yeah, of course, the funniest thing in the world.
And say, check out my man pussy, right, which he declined to do. But for Poopies, we said that this was for our grandmother's funeral. And the video was to be played at Grandma's funeral. He tried to make Grandma laugh in heaven one more time and then ask her to say hi to Jesus for him.
We did it, right? No problem.
Oh, no problem.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah, we kept going and going until we got his Cameo account suspended. There is no line for Poopies, but there is a line for Cameo.
So the special, you were starting to describe it a bit. So it's going to be. We just watched the intro.
Right.
Before you
It's a multimedia affair. It's called The Bucket List. After each bit, I pay off the bit with like this wildly explicit video that would never be allowed on Jackass, let alone Netflix or anything like that. I've got a vasectomy Olympics. It's an old idea. I heard a joke when I was a young boy. The joke was, what's the definition of macho? It's a man who jogs home from his own vasectomy. And I always wanted to be macho. I remembered that joke, and I thought, I've just got to get a vasectomy and do way more than go jogging. And so...
Well, they're not that bad anymore, the vasectomies. They used to be a lot worse.
Still,
No.
yeah.
I lied about my one. I said it was more painful than it was, so my wife would leave me alone for a week. I had a bag of frozen peas next to the bed just so I could watch telly. I was fine after 2 days.
Right. But within 2 hours of the
no. As soon as you leave, no, it's tender.
Wait, so you got the vasectomy?
I got the vasectomy, and then I went bareback horseback riding to my little party. We did all these things. We hung me up like a piñata and had kids whack me, and then that's what sticks.
It doesn't need to work anyway. But
even if you just jogged, it would have been funny. But
right, it was a good laugh. Now the thing is, I agree with you that a vasectomy is not as invasive. It's not as shocking of a procedure as maybe it once was.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that big of a deal. To look at the video footage, I thought, wow, it's a good thing I did all this funny stuff after, but the vasectomy itself is a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
However, as soon as I brought this show on tour, we found audience members were completely passing out cold in their seat. There's something about a vasectomy. It's underwhelming to most, but man, at the taping I had there were we did 2 shows. 5 people passed out at the first show, and I know of 3 people that passed out at the second show. I could not have.
You should leave water in the seats, man.
I could not have planted this one guy. He was the second seat in from the center aisle in the second row. And he tried to get past his buddy, but he fell out, landed on his face, and literally slid across the center aisle on his face during the taping.
Did you capture it?
Oh yeah. The guy was very embarrassed about it. Like we went to.
Still signed a release.
No, he didn't. We had to blur him.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
he did. He wouldn't sign, but still, you can just tell that you see that blur just
No,
slide right.
the blur's even better in a way. There's something.
A little bit, yeah, but it's and then do you know what an epidural is?
Yeah, epidural is
You get a 4-inch needle
into
your
the spine is what they give it to ladies before they give birth.
Yeah. They inject a drug into your spinal cavity, which renders you paralyzed from the waist down.
Yeah.
So I found this very weird, shady doctor character.
You're not meant to do it.
Yeah, he assumed a disguise and gave me this shot into my spinal cavity, yanked out the needle, and I took off running to see how far I could go. and if that wasn't bad enough, then once I collapsed into a paralyzed pile on the floor, then my buddies did rigorous experimenting to determine how paralyzed I was.
Now, because you said these are things that you couldn't do on Jackass.
Yeah, you can't.
Was there guidelines on Jackass where you said,
Well,
you can't?
you can't break the law.
Right.
You can't steal.
And so you've broken the law in some of these things.
It's definitely illegal to steal general anesthesia drugs,
Yeah.
epidural drugs,
Sure.
to administer them in a non-professional
Sure.
environment.
Because I always thought like with Jackass, you couldn't one of you couldn't just go, I'll cut my finger off with an axe, because like that's like an illegal thing to do or
I
something.
don't know that that's illegal. I just think, I
don't know if it's illegal.
I think that was.
Well, I'm just giving you an idea.
Well, the ideas floated around.
I'm not that original, yeah.
And I think it was just deemed a little bit on the dark side. However,
I'll tell you, I got one for you. I got one for you. And I don't know how we do this, but if you could induce a kidney stone, it's a winner. And just film something from beginning. I just had one.
My lady had one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a doozy. It's
Yeah.
and then if just to take it up a level, just don't drink for 2 days and try to really just raw dog it out.
Wow. Yeah. I've heard about kidney stones. Do you have a theory as to how you got it?
Oh, I know the foods that gave it to me.
Spinach.
They
I
took
heard.
okay. Some people it's spinach, and it's non. So I had oxalate was the thing I had. So it was sesame seeds, peanuts, which I still gonna eat peanuts. But sesame seeds have fucked me over in other ways. So sesame seeds, peanuts, beets, miso.
Chocolate soy milk.
Chocolate soy milk, but no other flavor of soy milk, right? But this is the thing is the things that give me kidney stones, if that was your diet, you would be, this guy's a pretty healthy sort of fella.
Right.
Yeah.
Spinach.
Yeah.
I mean, Popeye.
Yeah, spinach and fucking beets, man.
Yeah.
Beets are meant to be a superfood, but yeah, there's the chemical oxalate is what gave it to me. But they reckon that there's something in sweet tea that does it as well, and they can't put their finger on it because it goes along with the bio, but they call it the kidney stone belt. In the South, where they're all drinking sweet tea, they're all getting kidney stones. So they're down in the kidney stone belt. But anyway, it might be a long game to just eat a lot of beets, sesame seeds, and spinach until you get one.
Yeah.
Just for our entertainment.
There's our Jackass brother, Danger Aaron, reports that he has no feeling in his pinky, that it's just I think maybe he can't even move it. Like it's just of utterly no use to him.
Dead appendage, yeah.
And it is his wish that it be chopped off, but nobody can come up with a particularly cute way to make that.
Yeah. Is there? Okay.
Maybe you perforate it.
I think I can crack this,
and then you tie it to a truck.
Yeah, I think tie a noose around it, jump off a bridge, and so that you dangle a bit until it's ripped off, and then you fall.
You got to perforate it a little.
That was already they did that to his tooth already, so he's prepared. For the Lamborghini or something?
The problem is if it Lamborghini is that you pull your bloody arm out of your socket. So you got to find.
That's why I said you got to loosen up the joint.
Maybe you put yourself in some type of bracket so that your arm's in close. Then you bungee jump. I don't know. I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But what is important is to end it up dressed as a rabbit's foot on a keychain.
Yeah. You got to cauterize it
to make it lucky.
Nice, yeah.
All right. So, what other? Is there any other stunts you want to tell us about from the? 'Cause I'm watching the special tonight. I'm already sold. I'm already sold. I'll have to watch it first before my son can watch it before I show it to the 10-year-old. But I do the same thing with porn. Okay. No. That was a joke, everyone. I was joking. I don't show pornography to my child.
Your son
I wasn't even listening to you.
Forrest really left me dead in the water.
No, I was like, when is this coming out? I was like, this will be a week before. You have a link, but this is a week before it comes out on November 14th.
Yeah.
Are you in a relationship?
I'm married.
There you go. Because I want to highlight the fact that this is a beautiful love story.
Yeah.
And that recognizing that for me to carry out all of these forbidden stunts would have implications on my relationship. That's sort of the glue that holds it all together, is how my fiance, the stunts go in sort of a descending order of my fiance's approval. She becomes more horrified as it goes.
And this is because it's the bucket list at the end. You put a full stop to these stunts. That they're never going to be this extreme again, or because then I'll be praying for your divorce, brother. Just for the art.
Yeah, I'm not prepared to throw in the towel. The question is, am I gonna try to get double D boobs in a boob job that? And I'm glad to bring this up.
For yourself?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think yourself. Yeah.
I'm told to not keep them in for more than 3 months, because then the stretching is just going to be unmanageable.
Right.
But for, let's say, 2.5 months,
yeah, sure, I
could just have a real go at seeing how much comedy I can drum up with double D boobs.
Mate, if you put a pillowcase over your head, I'll tit fuck you. Okay.
And now they're
like if they're nice.
This idea is really dividing. I'm not my loved ones; they're all pretty in unison. but some people see it, some people don't, and I almost think that I just have to do it.
I look, break the internet, whatever. Also, there's the one, if you get them perfect and you do the shot and then you have the pan out to your head, that's where it's
you gotta get the nipples moved.
I was thinking about if you got the motorcycle helmet that just covers your whole face, and so in the bikini, having airbrushed all of my tattoos so that I'm tattoo-less, baby oil, bikini, full motorcycle helmet.
Arguably very progressive what you're doing.
Yeah, I think so. The message is
love.
Body autonomy.
Yeah.
My body, my choice, baby. I think everybody.
Yeah.
Right, but whether that happens in the immediate or not so immediate future is really kind of a question. At the moment, I'm just focused on the bucket list.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
November 14th, it comes out. You go to stevo.com to watch it there. It's called The Bucket List. We were, like I said, we were just watching the intro before you came in, and that already was like, we're going to watch.
Mate, I'm a big fan of your comedy, and I'm a fan of you as a guy.
Well, thanks, man.
Going through my sobriety, you were a bit of a beacon for me to watch.
I love that, man. How's it going with sobriety?
I haven't had a drink. In March 10th will be 3 years without a drink. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I take weed, so I'm not going to lie and say
March 10th is my sobriety date.
That's mine as well, man.
Yeah,
well
dude.
done, brother.
I had my big intervention was on March 9th.
Yeah.
We count the first day that we didn't get loaded as our sobriety date.
Oh, then it's March 11th.
Yeah.
I'll shake hands.
That's Johnny Knoxville's birthday.
Oh,
March
right.
11th. There you go.
Well, no, you were someone that I looked up to during that, because I thought if you could do it, and I was.
Well, I appreciate that a lot, man.
And I think you're a real funny dude, man. And I want to. I'll plug this special as much as you need me to, man. I want everyone to go out and watch it.
I appreciate that a lot, brother. And I you got to know, dude, that you're just a hero of mine in comedy, dude. always just loved your shit, man.
All right, well, we're going to go off now, and I'm going to fuck his tits.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, dude, thank you guys so much, man.
All right, thanks, Steve-O. Again, November 14th, steve-o.com, the bucket list. All right, let's meet our guest. Please welcome Zach Sharp.
G'day, Zach. Now it's time to play Yes, No, Yes, No, Yes, No, Yes, No.
Judging a book by its cover.
Bum. I can tell by the way that Zach is dressed, he's going to talk about men who see prostitutes.
Wrong.
No, is it pinball? Is it the
ding, ding, ding.
The history? Yeah, ding, ding, ding's the right noise to make.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's pinball. Zach Sharp. Zach Sharp is the director of marketing for Stern Pinball. Zach is also a two-time world champion, earning the distinction as the world's greatest pinball player. And you can connect with all things pinball at sternpinball.com. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever you like to call it these days, YouTube, and TikTok, Stern Pinball. Tell us a little bit more about yourself without giving away too much, Zach. Maybe about, like, tell us whatever you want.
First of all, Zach, if you're the world champion in pinball, you're the man I admire the most on this planet.
Oh, I like it. Good answer.
I've met every comedian, but I've never been that impressed.
Is the greatest form of entertainment in the world. If you've never played pinball, go play pinball and you'll see why.
Yeah, it is. It's the best.
I love it. Yeah, Jim got me into it.
It passes time really quickly, and it never ends. It never ends.
Yep.
You never win. You just keep going, and the score can get higher and higher and higher, and eventually, like life, your game's over.
Yep, gravity always wins.
Gravity always wins.
Gravity always. It is. The metaphors for life is I have 4 testicles.
What?
No, nothing.
All right, Zach. Jim is
I love pinball.
I'm gonna ask Jim some questions about pinball, and after he's done answering them, you can grade him on his accuracy 0 through 10. 10's the best. He's gonna probably know a lot, but we'll see. And
I played Godzilla for 3 hours yesterday.
Yeah, and 0 through 10, 10's the best. Jack here is gonna grade him on confidence. I'm gonna grade him on how hungry I am, and we'll add those scores together. 21 through 30, you're a pinball wizard, Jim. 11 through 20, cupcake wizard.
Ooh.
0 through 10, diarrhea wizard. You don't want to be that.
What's a cupcake wizard?
I don't know. I just had to find something in the middle that wasn't that bad.
Oh, they all had to be wizards?
I don't know. Sometimes I do different things with the categories. Today was wizard.
Okay. There's so many things like,
like what?
You get an extra ball.
No, I know, but I didn't want to give away any answers.
Special when lit.
What are
ding, ding, ding.
Jim, what are the origins of pinball? Like what games? Where did it come from? Talk about that.
Well, this I've watched a documentary many years ago, and I get a little bit flustered on this. The origins. It was something to do with there was balls that used to just fall down, and you could plunge the ball, and it would come and it would go dunk, 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 dunk. And Pinko is a good example of it.
Pinko?
Yeah, Pinko, that thing that falls down. Very popular in Japan, Pinko. A game of chance it is, where you just sort of, and it's also a game on The Price is Right. Oh. But yeah, Pinko, it falls down the different pins, and then you wait for it to fall down to a slot, and then it came in. They started putting flippers, and pinball went from being.
We'll get to that. This is the origins. Don't blow your whole load right
plunger
now.
Games, yeah, plunger games.
Plunger games, and like where that happened, or
I think it had something to do with the French for some reason.
French, okay. What is a bagatelle table?
Bagatelle.
I think I'm saying it right.
Bagatelle. It's a table in a long bit of bread.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. It's a table that when you carry groceries, it sticks out the top of your bag in a very presumptuous way.
Only a brown paper bag.
And only in movies, but never in real life.
Rom-coms.
I've yet to see a baguette sticking out of anyone's, but in movies, it has to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Are you done with that one?
Baguette. Okay, baguette table.
I can leave that as the answer.
No, what did you say?
What is a bagatelle table?
Bagatelle. I think maybe it's one where you make the ball go back and forth or something. I don't know. I don't know actually.
Hey, it's Helix Sleep. Hey, I got a Helix mattress. Helix was nice enough to give me a Helix mattress. It is in the guest room in my house right now. Now I just get into arguments with the wife so I can sleep in there. That's how I'm serious. That's how nice this mattress is. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including award-winning Luxe collection, the newly the newly released Helix Elite Collection, a mattress designed for all big, tall sleepers, and even mattresses made just for kids. They do different things, but it's got this cooling technology. You never feel, you know how you like to flip the pillow over because it feels nicer on the other side? The whole mattress is nicer on the other side. It's like you're always on the other side of the pillow. So, how will you know what Helix mattress works best for you and your body? Take the Helix Sleep Quiz and find your perfect mattress in under 20 minutes. Under 2 minutes. Screw 20 minutes. You'll be sleeping well in 2. And your personalised mattress is shipped straight to your door free of charge. Helix knows there's no better way out to test a mattress than by sleeping on it with your own body in your own home. That's why they offer you a 100-night trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty. 10 to 15-year warranty. I've been changing mattresses every 5 years for the last 46 years. Now I get 10 to 15-year warranty. Okay. Try out the new Helix mattress. Every mattress is unique and everyone sleeps differently. That's why Helix has several different mattress models to choose from, each designed for specific sleep positions and feel preferences. Models with memory foam layers to provide optimum pressure release if you sleep on your side. That's me, I'm a side guy. Models with more expensive foam to cradle your body for essential support in stomach and back sleeping positions. They got things for babies or ones to stop you from having them. And if your spine needs extra TLC, they got you. Every Helix mattress has a hybrid design combining individually wrapped sealed coils and the base with premium foam layers on top. It is the perfect combination of comfort and support. See, I used to like the memory foam. Then I like then I found it got too warm. Then I like the inner spring because I like it a bit of bounce. It's got it all. I'm telling you, best mattress I've ever had. I took the sleep quiz and I was matched up with a model mattress that helps me sleep on the side. I'm a firm, medium to firm, and I sleep on my side, so I need a bit of the memory foam to get there, going in there now. Look, I really like this mattress. I'm not bullshitting you. This is one of the better things we've ever sold. Well, the best, no, okay, well, they're all good, but this is a very good thing. Get this mattress. Plus, Helix mattresses are made in America and come with a 10 to 15-year warranty depending on the model. You don't want to take my word for it? Hey, you think I'm a liar? Helix has been awarded the #1 mattress pitched by GQ magazine. GQ magazine and Wired magazine, they're mostly known for their computer stuff, have put Helix as the #1 mattress. It is even recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine and the go-to solution for improving your sleep. Helix is offering 20% off all mattresses and 2 free pillows for our listeners. All you got to do is go to helixsleep.com/IDK. That's helixsleep.com/IDKAT. And use the code HelixPartner20, HelixPartner20. This is the best offer yet. It won't last long with Helix. Better sleep starts now. So what do you do when your girlfriend is dropping hints that she wants a ring? She's going to look at, hey, my friend just got engaged. Geez, it'd be nice. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, I don't have that much money and I don't know. Yeah, what you do is you break up with her. You break up with her. You can't let her push you around. But if you find one that you do want to put a ring on her finger, go to jamesallen.com. You can't keep... Okay, jamesallen.com. It's perfect engagement ring. What it does is it's your online destination for custom designing an engagement ring that she'll love more easily than you ever thought possible, and saving up to 50% on traditional stores. She gets to pick the shape of the rock, the cut, the setting, everything. Choose from over 200,000 certified conflict-free diamonds. That's a big one. There's no blood diamonds here. They've got both earth-created and lab-created. The real ones and the ones in the lab. Once you pick the diamond, you can see it in magnified 360 degrees view. You circle around, you look at it, you look inside it, you look out there, you step outside it, you ride it on a wave. You'll get to see the diamond. And you'll see the actual diamond, what it looks like close up on an HD photo on your phone or computer. This is real quality stuff. These are real diamonds, conflict-free. Seriously, you could walk into a jewelry store and look at all the under diamonds under the magnifying glass and have the person go, you know, they do that. I don't think they're doing anything. And you still wouldn't get as close a look as you can by looking at on your phone at jamesallen.com. Then you can pick from thousands and hundreds of ring settings in platinum, white gold, rose gold, and yellow gold. Jamesallen.com also offers an argument reality ring try-on.
Augmented.
Oh, augmented. That means better, because sometimes you get an argument, you know. Oh, you don't even know me. Why are you proposing? No, okay. Offers an augmented reality ring try-on, so you can see what it will look like on your hand. You already know your girlfriend's checked out that feature once or twice. She's already there doing it, putting her hand into photos, doing that. But here's what really makes the most helpful place to shop. They offer real-time diamond consultations and non-commissioned experts who can walk you through the process, educate you about the technical stuff, answer your question. They'll even advise you on how to pop the question if you want. Look, this ad isn't for everyone. This is just for people who are about to get engaged or in a lot of trouble and need to buy jewelry. These are the people we're targeting for right now. And look, I've been both of those people, and I've known the pressure. Everything from jamesallen.com comes with a lifetime guaranteed, free resizing and engraving, and hassle-free 30 days return. So if she says no, no harm, no foul, send it back. JamesAllen.com is the fastest growing online retailer of engagement rings and diamond jewelry. They've already been part of over 200,000 engagements around the world. Is yours next. Get 25% off. That's massive, all right? Sometimes we say like 10% off, 5% off, a month free subscription or something. You're getting 25% off a diamond. 25% off your order when you go to jamesallen.com and use the code IDACAT, I-D-K-A-T, and use the code IDACAT at jamesallen.com for 25% off. jamesallen.com.
When and where was the spring launcher introduced to pinball?
Now, I'm going to say the spring launcher, everything goes back to Chicago. I know that pinball's heavily Chicago-based, and everything comes out of Chicago. So I'm going to say Chicago 1910.
And why was it important?
Because it was the first time we had a contraption in the actual sport that you interacted with the ball rather than just knocking the table from side to side.
Okay.
So there was the first bit of skill. Because there is, like, when they say, a lot of people who don't play pinball won't know this, but when you start every game of pinball, when you plunge the ball, even if you hit it with a button, but it's better with a plunger. Okay, when you plunge the ball, there is a skill shot that will give you a nice amount of points straight off the bat if you can get it, and it's normally trying to get it into a certain letter. But there's a real great one like on Godzilla at the moment where if you plunge it right, you can just scoop through this other little hole and you get 5 million points straight off the bat.
Dang. Yeah. Oh, how was the pinball convention?
One of the best things I've ever done with my life. I could have spent 4 days there. It was $40 to get in. Stern gave me free tickets, but they weren't. My name wasn't on the list when I got there. You said they sorted it all out for me. I get there and I was like, I know people at Stern.
It was supposed to. I think Anthony was going to, but yeah, Zach didn't
do it. Anthony, Jody fucking Dankberg. I rang up that prick. Nah, Jody's a good friend of mine. Jody's the one who's always helped me out with my machines, and he comes and sees me every time in Chicago with his mate. They're real nice guys. Jody came to my show that night, but I rang up Jody and he was at his kid's Little League game. I'm at my kid's Little League game, and here I am. I'm fucking selling at the Chicago Theatre. I'm like, I'm not paying $40. And in the end, I was just like, you know what? I might just pay to go in.
Yeah.
So I paid to go in.
Well, some miscommunication somewhere.
Yeah. There was some miscommunication.
Anthony was the one that led me to Zach, and so Anthony, I'm sure will listen to the podcast and he'll feel bad and somehow.
It's all right. But Zach, you know Jody, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Jody buys all the titles, the acquisitions, and stuff like that. I know some things about some machines that are coming out because I spoke to Jody at Chicago. I won't mention it on the podcast, but off air, I hear there's a new machine coming out that involves. I'm not going to say any more, but you know what it is.
You're like, I'm not going to say anything, and I'm about to say.
Spoil the whole thing.
When
they have to release it themselves, I can't be in charge. But I'm so excited.
When were coin-operated pinball games introduced?
Coin-operated pinball machines would have been around the same time as I'm going to say 1910.
And why was that important?
To make money, man. Because otherwise, what's the point of this? We just got a machine in our bar that's doing nothing.
Yeah, sure.
They're money-making machines. That's what a pinball machine is. It's a revenue-making machine.
Whoops, just close that out. Which coin-operated game was the first quote-unquote hit?
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't know that.
I don't know.
I know things like who they're going to ask me when the flippers get introduced.
Yeah, I'll ask you. When were electrification and active bumpers introduced to pinball?
Electrification and active bumpers. I'm going to say in the 1930s.
1930s.
Yeah.
Okay. When were flippers introduced and what game?
I'm going to say the flippers were introduced in the 1930s, 40, just before the war, and the machine was Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty had the first ever flippers.
All right. What technology jump happened in pinball in the 70s and then the 80s?
In the 70s,
First 70s and the 80s.
I would say that would be, in the 70s and the 80s would be when you would have had your first electronic score keeping screen at the back, because before you used to have the letters mechanically go bing ding 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 ding, and it went through the bumpers and all that type of stuff. But then the 70s, 80s, you started to have that little pixelated screen at the back that would start telling you, replay, you've got a special thing, you're going into a different mode. It would tell you things, because before it never told you the different modes it was going in. You would just have to know by following the lights on the playing field and by the score that was going on.
What was the first pinball machine with speech?
Oh, that would have been Kit from Knight Rider.
Oh, yeah, Knight Rider.
The first car, the one that actually brings in audio, so maybe that's what's happened. Audio came in the 70s and 80s, but I'm going to stick with my screen answer.
Speech, though. Not just because there might have been sounds.
There might have been sounds. Speech.
They talk to you.
That would have been early 80s. Let me think. A game with speech. I've played games that had speech that are older games, like Taxi, which incidentally was made by Steve Ritchie's brother. Steve Ritchie is regarded to be the king of flow, one of the greatest pinball designers of all time. Yeah. And Taxi was designed by his brother and is also owned by Kenny Whitehead. Jason John Whitehead's father has a taxi machine. I'm just talking bullshit because I wanted to
classic.
I wanted to get away with it. Yeah, but Taxi and
I used to own one too.
Yeah, what's this? A fun machine?
This is classic what he does when he doesn't know the answer. I do know this, and I can talk on it.
Is it Taxi the TV show?
All right, so we'll skip.
But it's got a bit of that feel to it. It looks like Taxi, but it's got like Marilyn Monroe characters, and you got to pick up cars. And
That's another one. You don't know. Cool. That's fine.
I don't know.
What was the first game of the electronic era to feature multi-ball?
It was something. It was called something a Tron. It was like pinball, Pintron or something. It was Pintron.
Pintron.
Yeah, something like
based
that.
On the movie Tron?
No, it's not from the movie Tron.
Okay.
They didn't make up the word Tron. Tron was like you put on the end of things. Computertron, Jackatron,
Mellotron.
I've never heard of the word Tron other than the movie.
Yeah,
it's like a suffix on a lot of words.
Okay,
yeah, it's at the end of science fiction things from like the 1960s.
So Pintron.
Yeah, Pintron.
Who invented the tilt mechanism?
Oh, I will say that was Gary Stern. No, I don't know. I'm going to say Bally's. No, I'm going to say Williams. Williams invented the tilt, and all it is a little mechanism, like a little thing hanging down, a weighted thing hanging down. That if it swings back and forth, it starts to realize it's what's going on.
Oh. Who is the greatest? Keep closing this out, Baxton. Who is the greatest competitive pinball player of all time?
Lyman Sheets.
What? Is that a person?
Yeah.
Lyman Sheets.
Yeah.
Okay. At its peak, how many pinball manufacturing companies were there?
At its peak in the early 1990s, when they were selling really well. Sega.
I was saying this is present day. I asked present day. This question might be. Well, you can just answer it and we'll talk about it. We'll have a conversation.
8.
1990s 8, right?
Yeah, 8.
We'll see.
Now there's I went to the pinball thing. It used to be Stern Forever. They almost died. And then Jersey Jack came in and they made some fun machines. And now we've got this company that have made Labyrinth and this other company that makes this Galactic Girl type of one. There's there's a whole, and then there's a Dutch company that have been trying to bring out the what's that bowling movie with the guy that Big Lebowski. They've been bringing out the Big Lebowski for a fucking decade. They've been bringing out this machine for so fucking long that it's looking old.
Yeah.
And they haven't quite started selling it yet. They're right. I know there's people who have them, but they only made a small amount.
Yeah.
And it's got it's kind of fun, and it's got a white Russian. It's a fun looking machine, but it needs a bit of a zhuzh.
All right, let's fly through a couple of these questions and we'll get to it. Why was pinball banned in New York City?
Because it was seen as a game of chance, and because it was a game of chance, and it was not just New York City, it was other places as well, but because it was seen as a game of chance, they weren't allowed to play it because that was deemed to be gambling.
Who was Roger Sharp?
Roger Sharp, I might get this wrong, but I did watch the Hulu movie or whatever. I think Roger Sharp was the dude. I might have the name of the guy because he's still alive, but the dude who actually went to court to show that it was not a game of chance and that you could be, I could play better than you because I've played it more, and you could not play as good because you've never played it, and it's a game of skill, not a game of chance. And he went and actually played one in the courtroom to show this.
Yep, Roger Sharp. Zach Sharp is our guest, by the way. That's his name.
Oh, all right. Yeah, Roger's your dad. Roger's the guy with the tash, man. I'll tell you what, the girl who played your mum in the movie, Willy Woo-wah, eh?
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, no. I don't know what your actual mum looks like, but the actress is something else, eh?
What's the name? What's the name of the Hollywood film about the life of Roger Sharp?
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Oh yeah, well, that was a Steve Martin one.
No, I can't remember the name, but I just watched the movie not too long ago.
All right, we'll find out. Playing techniques. What's nudging?
Well, you sort of tap it from side to side. So if the ball starts, it's about to go down the side or whatever, you can hit it so it hits back in. Or
what about trapping?
Trapping, where you catch it in the flipper and you just collect the ball so you can give yourself a little breath and then you can think about what your next shot's going to be.
There was another question. I forgot that other question I was going to ask there.
That's one thing I can do. I can trap a ball and I can pass it to the other paddle, and I think that's like a pretty good pinball player.
What is a solenoid?
Solenoids are the little things to make. I'm not good with the technical stuff, but to make the bumpers work and all that type of stuff, and an electronic thing to make things react.
When was the first pinball competition and who participated?
It was Zach's dad and Humphrey Bogart.
Zach's dad. You don't even remember his name. We just said it.
Kenny Sharp. I forgot him. What was his name again? What's your dad?
Roger Sharp.
Roger Sharp. Sorry, Zach. I don't mean to be rude. So Roger Sharp it was Roger Sharp and Walter Stern. They had a competition.
Okay. Walter Stern.
Because I know I've watched interviews with Zach before, and I've watched, and his biggest problem with his dad is that his dad doesn't try to. Let me get this right. Your dad doesn't go for the big points. He's always aiming for the bloody ramps and the flashy looking shots rather than trying to break the machine down for points. Was that correct? You said something like that?
That is true.
Yeah,
he likes the feel of shots where I'm competitive, so I want to win. So it might be boring, but effective.
I think of points as well. I find a machine, then I break it down. There's a couple of machines in my life that you can't beat me on the Spider-Man from the Tobey Maguire movies. I'm a god at that machine.
Best-selling pinball
challenge accepted.
I'm telling you, I'm very good at that one. Very good at that one.
Best-selling pinball machine of all time?
Addams Family.
Addams Family. Okay. How many hours does it take to build a pinball machine?
It depends how many workers you got.
Well,
if it's just by yourself. I've been to the Stern
factories.
I've been to the Stern factory. Yeah. I'll tell you what I'll learn about the Stern factory. Hell of a lot of microwaves. They must just go, lunch, and then everyone microwaves at once or whatever. But I've never seen a wall of microwaves like that. You get radiation in that place. Anyways, but it's a factory line, just like building a car or anything. But you look at it, there's a number in a factory. In a pinball machine, there is like, I think someone said it to me before, a couple of miles of cabling in each one. It might be substantially more, substantially less, but it is a lot just of wires and all that type of stuff. They're not a very, when you open them up, they look like, that's why Doc Brown built them a bomb out of used pinball parts in Back to the Future.
How many hours? Give me a number.
Okay, I'm going to say with labour from the time it starts to the time they're spraying the filter thing, I'm going to say it's 18 hours of labour to make a pinball machine.
And then last question, how long does it take from inception to delivery? Like they come up with the idea, we're going to make this machine, and then I
think you'd need at least a year and a half of development on a pinball machine, and then you'd need 6 months of manufacturing, and then you'd need trial and testing and stuff like that. You'd have to make a model, test it out, make sure it plays well, make sure the story's good, make sure the fun of the whole thing, like the playability is there, and then they'd probably tweak it a bit, and then they'd redo it, and then you'd have to bring in the voice artists, and they'd have to record the voices and what have you.
All right. Zach,
what did I say? I don't even know.
How did Jim do on his knowledge of pinball? 0 through 10. 10's the best.
You know what? He surprised me, but not because I know you're a big pinball fan. So if I had to give a scale from 1 to 10, I'll give you an 8.
All right.
That's pretty good.
Ding, ding, ding.
How do you do on confidence?
10.
10, 18. I'm going to just give you a 10 on how hungry I am, just because I don't want to make you a cupcake wizard. You don't understand it. So you'll be a pinball wizard.
All right. Deaf, dumb, and blind.
I like how Forrest is acting like he's not hungry. I'm not particularly hungry.
No, the category was supposed to be how funny were you?
Oh, yeah? But I wasn't very funny.
And then you said, you got a little bit like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. So I said, I'm just going to say how hungry I am.
Guys, separate.
But you were funny.
Separate.
And I'm hungry. Okay. What are the origins of pinball?
I give you a 7 for your question reading. That's
about right, yeah.
That's the dude that you judged him on how his questions were. Those questions are bullshit.
We could start doing that. I'm sure the fans will love that. So, what are the origins of pinball? What games do they come from? Jim said Pinko. Balls fall down, different pins. How's that?
Yeah, it was kind of a hybrid. I know you're not to hop around. You got the essence of it right when you were talking about bagatelle. So pinball originates from that French game, bagatelle, from the 1800s.
The French.
And that was where you would have your spring-loaded plunger. So those were around at the inception of pinball. And you would plunge a ball, and it would go down those little pins. So that's where pinball kind of came from, was the ball would roll down those little pins into different scoring holes. The game from Price is Right is Plinko, and in Japan it's pachinko machines,
right,
which is usually more vertical versus horizontal.
Yeah, I had one of those when I was a kid. I had a pachinko.
Yeah. And how did Forrest ever become a gambling addict? you had a game that was just of chance where a ball fell down into a hole.
My mom bought it.
Yeah, that's a terrible. Now I know the origin story.
Oh my God, we just figured it out.
Fucking hell, Batman! Did someone just kill your parents? Fucking hell.
I never thought about it till right now. I actually was stuck on the fact that it's called pinball because of the pins. Zach was saying that. I go, I never even thought about that. The pins and the pinball. Yeah. And I wasn't even thinking about the fact that I'm a compulsive gambler, probably because my mom got me a pachinko. Yeah. Cool.
Throughout the rest of the podcast, Forrest is going to stop every 10 seconds.
I just pictured young Forrest just sitting there.
Oh. No, it had a thing.
I remember my mom bought it for me, and she put it right next to my blackjack table in my room.
I'm glad my mom's not alive anymore. This would make her very, very guilty. She heard this. Okay, bagatelle table we mentioned. So in France, it was all these were originated in France. So how did it get to the United States eventually? Like how does that or how did it? Or, I guess we'll just go through the questions so we can talk about it. When and where was the spring launcher introduced to pinball, and why was this important? Jim said it was Chicago-based, 1910. First time interactive bit of skill. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a historian, but from everything that I know of, those original French bagatelle games had the kind of spring-loaded plunger. But Jim got it correct. The first game with flippers was indeed Humpty Dumpty. So he got that correct.
And
that's really
40s?
where pinball advanced from just this kind of plunger ball, and you pray that you land in certain holes and you get paid out money, and added much more skill to it.
Yeah, I know you want to jump out, but I want to talk about pachinko a little bit more here. No, I'm kidding. Do we know when the coin-operated pinball games were introduced as well? Jim said 1910 was to make money, or?
Yeah, I mean, even those French games, they would pay out. So, you put in a penny, push it in, and depending on what scoring hole you landed in, you would get paid out. So that's why there was always that kind of element of gambling tied to it, because games used to pay out money.
There was like all the French machines. There was one of them was called Smoking. One of them was called Mistress. Mistress was if you got it in any of the holes, you won.
And all right, so I don't know if we want to go back. There was like electrification and active bumpers.
Fragua.
Do we know when that was introduced to pinball?
I don't know the exact year, but you can definitely say with the advent of flippers and stuff, that's where you get a lot more electromechanical action.
Okay. And then what technology jump happened in pinball in the 70s and the 80s? Jim said there was a pixelated screen on the back of the...
So not quite. So when it jumped from electromechanical to solid state, so that's where you would kind of have that digital numbers. So like that kind of like fluorescent kind of orange numbers. And then in the 90s is when you had your more, not traditional, but your dot matrix display. And then currently we're in the LCD era.
Well, yeah, now we just got TVs in the back of it. I want to change my answer from it's not pin. It was Pinbot. Pinbot.
The first multi-ball?
Yeah, Pinbot.
Is that
Still
correct?
wrong, but that's a good answer.
That wasn't about. That was sort of
the first multi-ball. You're saying? Right?
Yeah, but I got it wrong.
Actually, the first multi-ball was from designer Steve Ritchie, and it was Firepower.
I met Steve Ritchie on 2 weekends ago. I met him at the pinball convention.
Yeah.
And he was walking around.
Didn't you take a picture with him?
I did. I took a picture.
I know, you must love pinball because Jim does not post a lot of stuff to Instagram.
I don't post anything. I don't post anything personal.
You didn't even give it context. You're like Steve Ritchie.
You follow me, you either know who Steve Ritchie is or you fucking don't.
Yeah.
Right? But Steve Ritchie, and I was so excited to meet him. And he was walking around. He just designed for another company the new Elton John machine, and he was handing out the one sheets of the machine. He was walking around handing out his autograph.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was sitting at a table and people lined up for his autograph.
Yeah.
He's just walking around like, there, you have one, then you have
at this
one.
convention, everyone would know him.
Well, I knew him, but not everyone knew him. There was a lot of people that, look, I tell you what, that convention, man, if you $40, you take the kids, all the machines were free.
Yeah.
It was a great day. It was real good. But I got really excited and took a photo with him. And I think someone afterwards tried to explain to him who I was.
Yeah.
It did not register. I didn't tell him who I was, but someone else rushed up and pointed and went, no, that guy's a pinball enthusiast.
That guy's going to be talking about you in 2 weeks, so be nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's at the Chicago Theater tonight.
No, and also like he's not young. He would have been better just sitting down. He's like an older bloke, and he's
stay active.
He's walking around handing out his own autographs. Love it. Love the chutzpah.
And I don't even remember what I was going to ask there. Have you been to the place in Vegas, Zach? The pinball?
Yeah.
Of course he's been.
Pinball Hall of Fame?
Yeah. There's a game there. It's the base. It's so old. It's like, it must be from the 50s or 60s. And you just hit the ball with like a bat is the flipper.
Oh, the baseball one.
Yeah. And
baseball's great.
Yeah.
That's my favorite, I love that one.
Yeah. And then it goes out. Triple.
Yeah, and then the guys go around the thing.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Ah, man. I wonder if you can buy one of those somewhere.
There'd be somewhere, but that one's really old.
It's really. I feel like it would break down a lot. Like,
yeah, that
we
one.
don't have these parts anymore.
You'd need to know what you were doing. But that one's real. There's another one in there that's the circus one. That's an upright pinball machine.
Oh yeah, that one's scary.
Yeah, Pinball Circus,
which is I've never seen it anywhere but the Pinball Hall of Fame.
It's impossible. I tried. It's scary. It's scary to me, that one.
It's an upright pinball machine?
Yeah, so you gotta flip it up to a different level and flip it up to the upper bloody elephant's nose and through a clown's thing and a this and a that, and it's difficult.
Wow.
Yeah. It's difficult. And if you get up to the top, you feel like you're really doing something.
Is that a Stern machine, that one?
No, that was a Williams Bally machine.
Do you guys have like a softball league?
No.
Well, for a while,
Chicago,
for a while there, like when I bought Spider-Man, that I was really at the beginning of the pinball revolution. Pinball's as popular as ever now, and there's so many different companies opening up. And also, I think it's got a lot to do with guys my age who are really into it now, buying ones for their home and having the disposable income to actually get them. But when I got it, there was like 3 machines came out from Stern a year, and Stern were trying to sell a couple of thousand of these machines to have a nice little business, and now fucking massive.
Why do you think? What is your opinion, Zach, on what the resurgence of pinball? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, for me, pinball is just something that can't be replicated. So, a video game, you memorize patterns. Every time you play Super Mario Brothers or Pac-Man, it's kind of always the same. But with pinball, every ball, even though you're plunging it, the ball is wild and it's physics, it's physical, and every game is different. And to Jim's point, you can't really beat a pinball machine. You can get to a wizard mode, but you can always get 1 point better. So say that you got a grand champ score yesterday, you can get a higher score tomorrow. And from, here to eternity, you can just keep playing and get a better score. So it's just something that isn't replicable. And for the new audience and the young wave of players, people have pinball machines more and more in their house. So you have a new generation that are growing up with pinball in their homes. It's not just at, a pizza parlor or an arcade somewhere. It's in their home. So I think more people are aware of it too.
So my son now's 11. He's been brought up with pinball. He knows how to play pinball and that sort of stuff. His friends come over for sleepovers or something like that, and they're always a little bit skeptical about the pinball machines. They want to play the video games, and they always come over the house and they're playing Fortnite and all that sort of stuff, but they always end up in the pinball room.
Yeah.
They always end up in the pinball room every single time. There's something about an analog machine. Yeah. And then they've tried to make digital machines. It's not fun. Where they put the screen. I used to play.
I play it still, but it's not as fun.
Yeah. It's not as fun. It doesn't have the real sort of thing of the ball moving and all that type of stuff. There's just not the same.
It's like Zach was saying. Like Jim is, with the exception of the Munsters, you're better than me. I have the high score in that. But
you've had the machine longer.
Yeah, but I played it all throughout COVID.
You deleted all your code.
But you still were upset when I got your score. Anyways, but Jim is better than me. But there are games, I'll still beat him. And there's games sometimes, like you said, like he'll launch it and the ball just happens to go in this wrong thing, and there's like nothing. But you're definitely more skilled than I am at it. But it's still
it's like baseball. The two teams. It's such a sport. But I've only hit wizard mode once, and that's Spider-Man. That machine I've played back to front.
What's wizard mode?
Yeah, what is that?
That's where you complete every single fucking task in the thing. And then it's called superhero mode. There's just a red disc in the middle where you've done it all. And then they're like, well, we're just going to reset the whole bloody thing and start again. You're too good.
Zach, when were you 2-time world champion? Are you current world champion, or when was this?
No, I like to say I love my child more than my rank. But in 2013 and 2018, I ended the year ranked #1 in the world. So I was kind of quoted as the world's greatest pinball player.
Was I right with Lyman Sheets?
You know what? I'll give you credit on that. So you could argue that Keith Elwin is the kind of Michael Jordan of competitive pinball, but Lyman is definitely a good second choice.
Yeah, I watched a few videos on YouTube of Lyman. Lyman has a lot to do with working out how the scoring is done on the machines and stuff like that.
They're all different.
Yeah, the program. So he has a lot, but he could do some shots that seem pretty special to me.
That's one thing too. Is like
he was kind of like my Yoda. So growing up in Chicago, and he worked, with my dad. He helped teach me some of those kind of tips and tricks with the flippers. I know, Jim, you're kind of saying like, oh, you can post pass and cradle, let a ball bounce over. Lyman was kind of my mentor when I was a kid, teaching my brother and I how to play and kind of attack games differently versus just see ball, hit ball. And, I dominated the junior circuit thanks to Lyman as like a coach.
I tell you what, okay, so I'm not a big mansplainer because I don't know much about much. But when it comes to pinball, it's not good for me on dates, or definitely not good for my wife. If you want to push a woman away from pinball, let her hang out with me for 5 seconds. Don't double flip. Don't double flip. You just one flipper at a time. Wait for it to come.
It's so funny you're saying this, is because when I had the Munsters and Bianca was like it's the same thing. When I said, I'd be like, no, if you do both flippers, I'd be like, aim for there, go hit Frankenstein now. And then she'd be like, don't tell me where to hit it.
And my wife would do this. She goes, does the ball go a different place in the field, like from where the ball is on the paddle, like on the flipper? Does it go different? I go, yeah. If you wait till the end, it goes more that way, and you go. And I just looked at her like, ugh, and I was like, I couldn't have pushed her more away from pinball.
You're not the ambassador.
Yeah, no. I'm not good I'm not bad at teaching kids how to play pinball. All right, you're doing well. But grown women, keep me away from them at pinball. I'm terribly patronizing. It's like I'm not proud of this. This is a terrible attribute.
It's funny. As soon as you were saying it, I was like, wow, this is what I did to Bianca. So then I just stepped away and I let her do her own thing. And I was like, oh, you got multi-ball. Cool.
That's what I do now. I just walk away and I don't say anything. Hey, double flipping. Good for you.
That's your strategy.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. The ones where the people that just go like this, tunk, 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 tunk. But I've got footage of my son before he could talk. When I say before he could talk, he was like just about to turn 2. He had 5 or 6 words on him, and he could only really reach like one button at a time.
His chin was. I have a picture where his chin's on the glass.
Yeah, his chin was on the glass.
That's how far his arms.
He had to have his arms like this to play him. Like he couldn't play a wide body machine. He had to play like just a standard machine. Anyway, and he could hardly talk, and I saw him like bang, 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 the balls were going around, he was playing really good, and then it went straight down the middle where he couldn't play, and he went up like this, his hands went up, and he went, oh man!
Yeah.
And he couldn't talk, and that was the most communicative I've ever seen him. The most communication I've ever seen come out of him was that moment where the ball drained. Yeah. The most natural, where I know what you're going through, pal.
Do your kids play pinball, Zach? Is that a... Imagine that.
Yeah, no, I've got one kid, and it ebbs and flows, but no, he plays. He's got a little step stool. He just turned 5, and he loves Jurassic Park. He actually really likes the music and Iron Maiden. So I got a little metalhead there, and then I've got Godzilla and Avengers, Walking Dead. So I mean, he loves it.
Yeah, my son's like, look, I've only got room for 4 pinball machines in my house, and if I buy another house, the next thing is I need like a big basement or something. If I had room for 20 machines, I'd have 20 machines. I would have as many machines as I could fit. And so, do you know the actor Dan Bacadol? He was in a sitcom with me called Legit, but he was also off the TV show Veep, and he was also Life in Pieces, a sitcom on CBS.
Been in a ton of things.
He's been in if you Google Dan Bacadol, which his name's super easy to spell, you'll know exactly who he is. But me and Dan lives up the road, and he has 4 machines. And what we do now is, he'll buy a machine or I'll buy a machine, and then after about a year, we'll swap machines so that we have new machines in our house.
You just got Godzilla from him.
I just got Godzilla, and I gave him Mars Attacks, and then I think I'm going to buy another one, and he's going to buy another one, and we'll play for you. But I never give up Spider-Man, because you know why I don't give up Spider-Man? My son likes Spider-Man. It needs a real good clean. I need to clean the actual playing field really badly. It's gotten real dirty. But Spider-Man was the first thing I bought myself when I had a little bit of success. When I first was successful, when I came to America, I was about $50,000 in debt from another business deal that went belly up. And then I had I think I'd just done the HBO special. I had a little bit of success, and the treat that I bought myself, and I was living in someone else's house, but I just had a corner in a room. I bought a Spider-Man pinball machine, and fuck me, that was the happiest, I think, quintessentially the happiest I've ever been, is when that machine So, and I've had kids and marriages and all sorts of stuff.
Hopefully, I don't hear this podcast.
But when that machine arrived in that big stern box, oh man, you couldn't take the smile off my face.
Were you saying something, Zach? Sorry.
No, I was just agreeing with everything Jim was saying there. I mean, even my dad, not to hop ahead to your questions,
we can.
but,
yeah.
You know, he lived in New York in a 1-bedroom studio apartment, and he had 5 pinball machines in there. How my mom said yes to him in marriage, I don't know. You know, he got kind of lucky there. But, you know, he loved pinball, and it kind of transcends generations now.
I also think they're beautiful. The artwork on them. I think the box, a lot of people think they're a garish thing to have in a house. Because I had an interior decorator help me with my home. I don't know how to decorate or anything like this. And he was like this, you want pinball machines? And he just didn't know how to work it into anything. And I was like, yes, I want pinball machines in every room. And then he goes, how about we just have your little pool house bit out the back? I went, okay, we'll put the, But man, I would have them everywhere. If my wife let me, I would get rid of one of the bedrooms and just pinball it up, and
Well, that's
sounds like my childhood,
and make my child sleep in the hallway because all my bedrooms are taken. I got 2 kids in there; they're all taken. But oh man, I love pinball.
Let's jump ahead here. So, why were they banned in New York City? And then, who was your dad? Let's talk about your dad a little bit.
Yeah, no. So
not your real dad.
Hit on it. So from the 30s to the 70s, pinball just kind of had that stigma of gambling because the games used to pay out money. And it was kind of like an antiquated law where even though pinball machines were being produced and manufactured in Chicago, that was one of the 3 metropolitan cities where it was illegal. So, you know, New York, Chicago, LA. And my dad, when he moved to New York and he worked for GQ magazine, he kind of became known as a pinball expert. And he was brought in to testify and prove it was a game of skill, not luck. And he kind of went into the courtroom, called his shot, and they overturned it. And it kind of helped legislation change that law. And now here we are. The man who saved the game.
I can't think of another court case where they've brought in a machine for someone to prove something. You know what I mean? Like you could, like we have O.J. Simpson putting on the glove.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. You know, that type of stuff. But like having a machine, you prove to us that that's the most important. His father's game is the most important game of pinball that's ever been played. Doesn't matter if it's a World Series.
You want to hear a little bit more on that?
Sure.
So they had a game there and a backup game. And the first game that he was supposed to play, the head defendant or whoever on the jury, he thought it was rigged. So he's like, no, I don't want you to play that one. I want you to play the backup game, thinking that there was all this like voodoo happening of they are setting this up to rig. Like, no, I want the backup machine. So they actually swapped the machine that he was supposed to play on in the moment. And he still proved, skill by calling his shots. So little fun fact.
And what was the game? Do you know the game? Which game it was, or was it?
Yeah, so the original game that he was supposed to play was supposed to be El Dorado, which is a game that's been kind of repurposed many times. There was like 10 drop targets in the back. And then it ended up being a Gottlieb bank shot, which was like a pool-themed game.
Now, is it true that your father went to an adult bookshop every day to play in New York?
That is accurate. Yep.
Right, because it was illegal in New York. The only place you could do it is in the red light district.
Yeah.
So where they sold all the porn mags, they had a thing. So he went to this porno shop every single day, but he was only going there for the pinball. Wow.
Yeah. Because he went to school in Wisconsin, and that's where he kind of was introduced to pinball and learned it was a game of skill, and he just naturally gravitated towards it. And then when he moved to New York, he realized, like, why is there no pinball machines anywhere? And then he found one at that adult bookstore. Let's just think that he was only there to play pinball.
Yeah. He just wandered in there because you couldn't use the internet. Your dad was going in there to buy porn. Let's be like certain about that, because it's not like you could get an app and go, where are pinball machines near me? He had to stumble across it because there's no mate of his that's coming into work going, Hey, I was buying porn the other day. Hardcore double penetration porn. And I tell you what they had in that porn place, a pinball machine. So I think in the movie or something, they acted like he went in there to go to the bathroom or something, but you know what happened, right?
I don't like to think about that, but yeah, carry on.
What's the name of the movie? The name of the movie about your dad, Roger Sharp.
Oh, Pinball, the man who saved the game.
I believe it's on Hulu right now. Is that where I watched it? Hulu? It was on Hulu?
Yep. Apple TV, Hulu, YouTube.
I got to see it. So who plays your dad in the movie?
So the young version is Mike Feist, who's like on West Side Story and some other stuff. And then the older version, which is scary how good he is Dennis Boutsakari or Karis. He was on Better Call Saul. And there's a lot of people who actually know my dad, and they thought he was legit in the movie. It's like, oh yeah, I saw your dad in the movie. Like, oh yeah, I know that older actor. It's like,
for a bit,
wait, that wasn't your dad?
I've seen your dad interviewed, and I thought when I watched the movie that it was your father to begin with, but then I realized it wasn't because he was too good. If that makes sense. Yeah, because he was walking through scenes. If he was
not an actor.
If he was just seated in a stall just talking, I would have believed it was your father. But he was walking through scenes, picking things up, doing actor-y things.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, no. And I actually had to Google that when I was watching the film.
And was your dad nervous, do you know, like when he had to be in the courtroom, or was he just like, I got this?
This is a guy who walked into a porn store every day. he was all right, confident.
That's a good question. You know what? I don't think he was, because he was kind of begged to go into the courtroom. At first, he actually said, like, no thanks. Like, I'm more interested in my career. He didn't really care about legalizing pinball because he just wanted to own a game, and he got a game. So he kind of didn't care. So maybe he played a little more loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't. In the movie, he didn't care because he had his game already.
Yeah.
So what did he give a fuck for?
Yeah, I got it.
Like, it's like if you wanted to fucking make something illegal that I already own, TV. Oh, no, never do that. I love TV.
Let me ask some of these questions we jumped ahead from. The multi-ball, you said Pinbot, right? We got that.
Wrong.
No, Firepower.
Firepower. I'm sorry. Firepower. What was the first pinball machine? Was Speech?
Gorgar.
Gorgar. Sounds like you just made that up. Gorgar. What is that? What is that one about? Gorgar.
Some like mythical demon, and it was like Gorgar Speak. It's really bad, but it was the first game with Speech.
That was always my favorite pinball machines. Have always been like you get these ones that are movie themed, right? Of course, you get the movie themed ones, and then you rock and roll bands. It's very popular. But I like just, like Medieval Madness or Mars Attacks and things like this. Things that just you made up. Gorgar, But I'll tell you the first pinball machine where I walked towards it like. And I was a little kid. I must have been about 10. But people who know me, you'll know that my real last name is Nugent, right? Like Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
There is a Ted Nugent machine.
Yeah.
And there was a Ted Nugent machine in a caravan park in central New South Wales, Australia, that my parents made us stay in for about 4 days. And all they had was this pinball machine. It's not a great machine. Yeah. It's a basic bitch machine, the old Ted Nugent machine. But I remember running back because I'd never seen like how excited you get when you see your name on like a little license plate or a shot glass in a gift store. Imagine it on a pinball machine. Yeah. I'd never seen Nugent written anywhere. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, so I kept on playing that machine for that 5 days, and then after that I was pinball mad. What year would it? You know the machine I'm talking about. It's like he's the glass is kind of cool. He's like playing guitar, and it's like we since know he's very into guns, and there's like bullets coming out the end of it, like.
That's actually a Stern Electronics machine.
All right, and what year would have that been? I want to say about 1984.
Yeah, early 80s, I'd say.
Yeah, okay.
And then who invented the tilt mechanism? Was it Gary Stern, or you said 3 answers?
No.
Yeah.
It was Harry Williams from Williams back in the day.
Okay. Playing techniques. Nudging, Jim said tap side to side. Trapping, trap with flipper. I think that's right. There was another one that you sent to me, and I forgot to put it in here. I forget what that one was.
That was a dead flip. So when the
ball comes down,
don't use your flipper.
Oh, and you just make it go from side to side? Like,
Yep.
is that what it's called? Yeah, that one takes balls. A lot of people can't do that. I've got that fine. Like a lot of times when it comes out of like the chute and it pops back out of you, you pop it into the hole and it pops back out of you.
So you don't move the flippers, it just kind of goes across or bounces from one to the other.
Yeah,
right?
bounces from one to the other. That one has to take balls of steel to do that. But once you figure out how to do it.
Well, the Munsters has a thing where it shoots out, I think from, I forget where it shoots out from, maybe, God, I can't remember his name.
Herman.
Herman Munster. It shoots out, and I think you don't touch it because it hits one flipper and goes the other.
Correct.
So you got it, yeah. A solenoid.
Helps you get control.
A solenoid, Jim said, that's how bumpers work. Is that what a solenoid?
Yeah, it's like under the hood that helps fire flippers, coils, drop targets, pop bumpers. So
yeah, and that's like at the heart of all the pinball machines, right? So
yeah.
And then the first pinball competition, who participated? Was it your dad and Walter Stern?
No, he actually helped run like the first big legit. It was called like the Bally Super Shooter. It was on a Bally Playboy machine, and the winner got a brand new car, a Nissan.
That's good.
I once entered a really big Pinburg in Pittsburgh. They had a big competition.
Yeah.
And I got really, really deep into this fucking competition. Like, I was like winning. And I was getting down to like the final, like 20-something players or something like that. I had to go to my show, man.
Yeah.
The competition lasted too long. I had to be on stage, like but I really thought about not going because I'd never done so well. I was like, I was up to the stage where people were watching me play on the screen. They had video screens of the playing field, and people were watching me play, and I was like, but I remember in that competition as I got really far into it that okay, so I don't think you'll be offended by this, Zach, but there is
No.
There is a lot of nerds in the pinball community, right? It's safe to say.
Shocking. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
All walks of life.
Hey, I'm a bit of a nerd myself. I'm not, not like the popular. I'm not talking like, how girls are like, oh, I love nerds.
No, you don't.
You like a guy with glasses who's a bit preppy looking. No, I'm talking about people with flaky skins who can't talk to you.
Socially awkward.
Yeah, socially awkward folk. And
What is that flaky skin?
the people with like they've got like hand brackets on because they're playing pinball so much that they needed special like bowling gloves. You know what I mean? Like, all right, chill the fuck out, right? Anyway, those people can be socially awkward, right?
Yeah.
So me being who I was playing pinball in this competition, I had one nerdy fucking pinball guy walk past me like he was out of an 80s movie and bump into my shoulder like this. Boom. Sorry, didn't see you there. And they keep going on. I'm like, are we fucking kidding here? The fucking nerds have all fucking come together to get angry at me for fucking getting so far in the competition. So there was an active part of the crowd of watching the competition who actively didn't want me to do well.
Zach, let's talk about the last couple questions here. How many hours does it take to build a pinball machine, and how long does it take from inception to delivery? Just talk about building pinball machines a little bit.
Yeah, no. So in terms of like people hours, it takes roughly 30 hours from start to finish in the factory to build a pinball machine. And then you kind of nailed it from a design perspective. It's roughly a year and a half from start to, putting a game in a box. So when we sign the contract of, hey, we're going to do a Venom pinball machine, to when it is going into a box shipping worldwide, it's around like a year and a half.
And why is Chicago the hub, or why was it, or is it, or what? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Detroit with automobiles. I think the location of sourced parts and electronics, it is the motherland of where pinball manufacturing is always taking place.
Also, loads of bars in Chicago and months and months of shitty weather.
Always.
Like you know what I mean? Like you couldn't, like LA, it's very hard, but like there's a lot of pinball bars in LA now, but I mean, like you wouldn't want to manufacture it here because people are outdoors all the fucking time, and then there's the people in San Diego selling surfboard wax or whatever they get up to, they're all doing that. Then you got the people in fucking Texas, they're all shooting each other. Chicago just seems like the right fit.
Yeah.
And Venom is coming out soon. I guess that's why, or it's out now, right? It's behind your head.
Yep, it's out now.
It's out now. There was a big display of the Venom game at the expo. I played the Venom game. Very good, fun game.
Yeah, and I played the Foo Fighters one. That's how I met Anthony, the guy, to get that I met Zach. Because they were giving it away at a festival. Well, they weren't giving it away. It was an auction.
Oh, that's right. Forest Springs. What's a good bid for this?
Yeah. And I came in. This was very wealthy. This was like Yellowstone wealth.
Yeah.
People. Somebody paid like 3 times what it was worth. And on stage, I was like, "If you want to donate it to me, I'm struggling." Okay. All right. This is a part of our show called Dinner Party Facts. Ask our expert to give us a fact, something obscure, interesting about the topic they can use to impress people. I don't know if it's gonna be exactly about this topic, but I think it's more about yourself, right, Zach?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, man. What do you got?
No, you tell us.
Okay, yeah. So I don't have the picture in front of me right now, unless you want me to share my screen.
I have. I'll give it to Jack here, and he'll make sure it gets put up so people can see it. Yeah.
But yeah. So my dad worked for Williams Bally Midway, and they were the originators of Mortal Kombat. So a little fun fact. I am one of the small kids in the original Mortal Kombat print ad.
There you are.
I am the kid in the pink shorts in the original Mortal Kombat ad.
Oh, that is cool.
I think you have another one too, right?
Oh, that is cool.
Oh yeah, this is a little more embarrassing, but why not? I was quoted as or anointed the geek calendar for hottest geeks in the Chicago, Red Eye for pinball. So it's me kind of half naked on a pinball machine.
I don't know if you're half naked. You're just
that image resurfaces every few years.
Oh, that's a nice
little
one.
Embarrassing, but why not?
I'd go through the glass, me.
I was saying you just the Mortal Kombat thing. You must have had a fun childhood. That's what I would think.
I had the best.
Yeah, man.
I'm biased, but
no, that sounds like a good childhood. Your dad owned pinball machines.
Yeah, that was the guy.
The fucking, you went Mortal Kombat. If the movie's anything to go by, your mum was smoking hot.
Zach, thanks for being here. And again, connect with all things pinball at sternpinball.com. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter or X, YouTube, and TikTok. And as you said, Zach, just go out and play, right?
Yeah, go out and play.
Yeah.
Zach, this is my favorite podcast ever. I could keep talking. I could talk for hours. And I'm gonna talk to you for a few minutes after we get off the podcast. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Zach. Hey, if you're ever at a dinner party and someone goes, the French had nothing to do with pinball, go, I don't know about that, and walk away. Good night, Australia.